I am the daughter of Bernice O'Neill McKinney, who is the daughter of Callie Pearson McKinney, who is the daughter of Lizzie White, who was 12 years old when she came up out of slavery, who was the daughter of Martha. I'll give you a moment to call the elders in the balcony into the room as I just did. Call them by name and out loud. I don't hear any names, so. The other thing I want to recognize before I get started is this is Thursday, and I am typically in all black on Thursdays for Thursdays in Black. Thursdays in Black is a movement, a global campaign started by the World Council of Churches to combat violence against women, and recently they added and transgender people all over the world. They encourage individuals to wear black on Thursdays as a symbol of resistance and mourning for victims of violence, and a call for a world without rape and violence. The symbolism of wearing black on Thursday signifies resistance and is not negative in any way. So I invite you to not only wear black on Thursdays, but to resist and advocate against a world where rape is common. Giving honor to God, who is the head of my life, y'all know I did that because Candace invoked the covenant, right? And it took me all the way back to Pine Grove Baptist Church in central Alabama, in Odina. And I thought, my God, I can hear us doing that in Psalm 136. Am I the only person to know that story? I know there's always a problem when you start calling names, because I will miss somebody, but I am also going to call some names. So thank you to CDF and to the chair of the board and to President Starsky Wilson and all of you who made this possible, this formidable invitation. Thank you to my colleagues and my friends, Reverend Dr. Bill Lamar, Dr. Deborah Krause, and Reverend Wesley Morris for making this pulpit hot. And watering it and seeding it for the ground where I now will plant. Thank you to Reverend Emma and Minister Candidates for your invaluable work as co-chaplains on this grounds, to Reverend Dr. Alice Hunt for your decades of friendship and mentoring and your leadership on these grounds. All of you who lectured or were on panels, my God, y'all, let me just say, my brain wants to break, and I want to go buy every book that was mentioned. I'm going to be broke before it's all over. Thank you to my real, true, steadfast friend, Reverend Doctor, he ain't Reverend, but he is a Reverend of the music ministry, Dr. Tony McNeil, for helping us to lean into our traditions and our futures in song. We've been singing some of the old songs or some new songs to old tunes, but it is to create an aperture, an opening for the future, and I appreciate that. With those words, and really, God bless all of y'all who have helped me with this, I reached over and said to my good friend, Marilyn, who said, I'm your adjutant today, and she has been helping me. Every time we're in the same place, she takes it upon herself to feed me at least one time, and she did that, and then she was like, no, I'm going to be sitting right next to you, adjutant. So I had to lean over to her and point out some words, Carrie, so she would know I had it in the sermon before I got up here, because it's going to sound like I'm just mimicking some things y'all already said, but I wrote this a long time ago. So this is just how the Spirit works. Listen to these words from Proverbs 8:22 through 36. I'm reading from the New Revised Standard Version, Updated Edition. The Lord created me. This is wisdom talking. Wisdom is talking in the first person voice. The Lord created me at the beginning of his work. Somewhere in the beginning of creation, the first of his acts of long ago. Ages ago, I was set up. At the first, before the beginning of the earth, when there was no depths, I was brought forth. When there were no springs abounding with water, before the mountains had been shaped, before the hills, I was brought forth. Wisdom talking. When he had not yet made earth and fields, all the world's first bits of soil, when God established the heavens, I was there. When God drew a circle on the face of the deep and made firm the skies above, when God established the fountains of the deep, when God assigned to the sea its limits so that the waters might not transgress God's command, when he marked out the foundation of the earth, I was beside him like a master worker. The word means architect. And actually, they are a little confused about what this word is. I'm pausing for a moment just to tell you this, because some people translate it as a little child, because there's a word in Hebrew that can mean either architect or a little child. I hope y'all heard me. And I was daily God's delight. I was daily God's delight, playing before God always, playing in God's inhabited world and delighting in the human race. And now, my children, listen to me. Happy are those who keep my ways. I hope y'all heard wisdom say what her ways were. Hear instruction and be wise, and do not neglect it. Happy is the one who listens to me, watching daily at my gates, waiting beside my doors. For whoever finds me finds life and obtains favor from the Lord. For those who miss me injure themselves. All who hate me love death. So ends the reading. I forgot a couple of shout outs, and so because I want to go back to work, I do want to shout out the MTSO students and alum who are here. And because I want my nonprofit to flourish, I want to shout out Woman Preach Nation. So, foundations matter. We've had a lot of good information and wisdom about the work of advocacy and agitation and activism. Our children have been in freedom school, chanting and dancing and learning and crafting a world yet unseen. When I got the theme and the text and the concept, I, like any preacher worth her salt, began to pray and to seek God. I read the Zechariah text. I did. Thus says the Lord of hosts, old men and old women shall again sit in the streets of Jerusalem, each with staff in hand because of their great age. Now that I'm a woman of a certain age, I really appreciate that part of the text. And the streets of the city shall be full of boys and girls playing in its streets. Thus said the Lord, even though it seems impossible to the remnant of this people in these days, should it also seem impossible to me, says the Lord of hosts? I will save my people from the east country and from the west. And then the Lord reminded me of the Lady of Heaven. I read that text. I meditated on Zechariah. And the Lord reminded me of the Lady of Heaven, Hokmah, which is her name, wisdom, and whispered in my ear, foundations matter. Now, I meditated on that phrase for some time, and finally, Patrick, it clicked. Any house we build has to have a sure foundation. Any world we imagine has to be founded on something. So I return to this text to find that foundation. I want us to leave today with the reality that we do the work we do on a foundation that was set and settled and established from the beginning of creation. We can look back over our limited histories in time. We can call the name of the ancestors we know, but we really have to go all the way back to creation to get the intention of the foundation on which we build. Foundations matter. I want you to use your sanctified imagination, and I want you to see Hokmah, this child, playing and being the architect of creation. Proverbs 38:30 is variously translated as I was a master worker, or I was an architect, or I was a nursling, or I was a little child. The word is so uncertain. Is wisdom an architect or a little child? I want to submit to you that she is both. She is the child swirling in the front yard in a red dress, with her dress looking like dusk as the sun sets. She is a child rocking back and forth in the swing on the porch, with her shoes looking like the black of midnight. She is a child running in sunflower fields, making the yellow seem even more brilliant. And she is the child building sandcastles on the Atlantic seashore. She is a child playing in the woods with her imaginary friend. I feel bad for you if you didn't have one of those. Following her granny into the woods. Now I'm doing some autobiography here to see where her granny got her roots for her root work from. Wisdom is a child on fire with curiosity and imagination and a vision for creation, unwounded by the worries that would follow. Foundations matter. I'm suggesting that if we in this room can tap into the child that is or was unafraid to explore the world and the cosmos, if we can tap into the child that built whole cities and populated them with righteous peoples made of sticks and dolls and putty, if we can tap into the child before she was told no, or don't do that, or that's not safe, or color inside the lines and make it neat, if we can tap into the foundation of why we can do any work we are called to. Can you see wisdom stooping down to see what the ant is doing with food on his back, lifting objects 10 to 50 times more than its weight? Can you see wisdom? What story did she tell herself about that ant and about herself that created a world that had that kind of strength? Can you see her as she watches a spider? Now, I ain't wisdom in this way. I don't watch spiders. I make people come kill spiders. I know that ain't wise, but I'm just talking for myself. Y'all pray for me. It's a sin to kill spiders. They are good for the ecosystem, but not good for my soul. So, but anyway, spiders in all their varieties have a tensile strength and an elasticity that is in comparison to the created order, is as strong as steel. Imagine what she was imagining, wisdom, as she saw God create a spider, saw the first web spun, and said, my, do I have that kind of elasticity and that kind of strength? Can you imagine that? Can you see her dancing across the face of the deep, across chaos? Now, Genesis 1 says that the Spirit moved on the face of the deep. But what I want you to know is that the Spirit didn't move on the face of the deep. The Spirit moved on the face of the deep. The Spirit shimmied and shook and danced across chaos. It was spinning and twirling and swirling as the wind is spinning like a swirling dervish, a Muslim mystic, changing the composition of the encounter between God and chaos. Y'all hear me now? What would happen if we took seriously that every time we dance, whether it's at a wedding or a baby shower or a funeral or gathering of activists and advocates, that when we move, we dance and change the atmosphere? Foundations matter. One of my favorite pictures from the Ferguson uprising is that of a young sister, a healer, a conjurer, a ritualist in a long flowing gown. I don't know if you've seen this picture. She has sage in her hand and she's moving back and forth in front of some soldiers who don't know what to do with this kind of conjuring. And you can see them backing up as she is clearing the atmosphere with her movement and with her dance. They were ready for the usual fight. They were ready for people to throw things at them, and they were ready for people to yell at them. They were not ready for the cosmic dance. They were not ready for somebody to be in tune with creation so much that they could heal the world by their movement. We do this work because from the foundation of the world, wisdom was right there giving us a dance and laughter and curiosity. If you don't think wisdom was playing with us, then you need to spend some time learning about creation. If you've never seen a platypus, you likely would have to say or imagine God saying, "What the world is that?" And I can hear her laughing. Or a bumblebee, which, based on his wings and his body size, should not be able to fly. And I can hear God saying to wisdom, "Really?" And I can hear her laugh. We know wisdom. We played like her before somebody slapped it out of us or disciplined it out of us. Who in this room besides me played church growing up? Yeah, we were mocking our elders. Ain't no shame in that. We were mocking them. But my grandmother would look out her kitchen window and tell us that we needed to quit playing with God. And we ignored her. And we just waited till she went back to what she was doing and resumed the play. Or in our case, we just moved further into the woods in a clearing and kept right on being the preacher or the usher or the sister that got happy or the deacon that prayed. Our gifts in the offering plates were rocks and leaves. Those were our gifts. We gave creation back what creation had given to us. Sometimes we invited our pets, or if you grew up in the country like I did, the animals in the woods were welcome. The squirrels would sit there, and the rabbits, and yes, the garter snakes. We were living what Isaiah 11 said. A shoot would come out of the stump of Jesse, and a branch would grow out of his roots. The Spirit of the Lord, Ruah, wisdom would be on him. The Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and might, the Spirit of knowledge and the fear or reverence of the Lord. He would not judge by what his eyes see or decide by what his ears hear, because wisdom knows what you see and what you hear ain't always good information. But with righteousness he shall judge for the poor and decide with equity for the oppressed of the earth. He will strike the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips he will kill the wicked. Righteousness shall be the belt around his waist. Listen, the wolf will live with the lamb, the leopard will lie down with the kid, the calf and the lion will feed together, and a little child shall lead them. The cow and the bear shall graze, their young shall lie down together, and the lion shall eat straw like an ox. The nursing child shall play over the hole of the snake, and the weaned child shall put his hands on the adder's dens. They will not hurt or destroy on my holy mountain, for the earth will be filled with the knowledge of the Lord, and the waters that cover the sea. Foundations matter. Who besides me here played being a hoodoo person or a witch or a conjurer? We didn't just watch Bewitched. We wanted to be the witch. You ain't got to own up to it. I know you did, and I know I dated myself, and I know I ain't the only one. We practiced our powers, abracadabra, and all the things we could. There were things we wanted to make disappear, and there were things we wanted to make come to pass. We practiced it. I grew up with a root worker and a fire talker. My grandmother was also the mother on the bench, the mother's bench in a Baptist church in Alabama. But every year somebody came and she gave them medicines from the earth. Every year she made ritual baths for people. My uncle would come down from Detroit with empty big old Coca-Cola bottles, and she would fill them with whatever she had made for a ritual bath, and he would drive all of those back up for y'all cousin them up in Detroit, because somebody in Detroit had forgotten how to make medicine. When I was in Brazil, Marvel Jean, the mother of the Contemplatiero we visited, told me that I needed to dance so that I could take the weight of the world off my shoulders. She said, dancing would help me carry what God wanted me to carry and let go of what God wanted me to let go of. She was wisdom for me. She said, dancing is in creation. Now, I'm not a scientist, but I know from string theory that the cosmos sings and vibrates. I'm not a scientist, but I know that if you listen close enough, you can hear the cosmic song. That's why we can say, up above my head, I hear music in the air, because cosmos is literally singing, and it is literally dancing. We arrived in Brazil on the day of the St. John's Carnival, and that carnival includes dancing in the streets. It includes yo-yoing in the street, drumming in the streets, and laughing in the streets. As we leave here, don't let your shoulders go back up into your ears. Relax and dance and sing freedom. Imagine the world that is not yet. Take your eyeballs off white supremacy for a minute as your primary focus. I'm not saying that these things aren't important. I'm saying Suge said to Silly in The Color Purple, you got to take your eyeballs off man so you can see God. I'm saying that we're sometimes so focused in the work that we forget the why of the work or the who of the work, so that we can see the one who controls chaos with a dance. So that we are not driven by fear, but by the foundational plan for the creation to be full of play and safety and creativity and strangeness and diversity. We are called to dance our way to freedom from the foundation of the world. Let's go. This poem I wrote while I was in Brazil, I read and I take my seat. I pray God has blessed you thus far. Let us offer one another the fresh bread of forgiveness, Let us be transformed by our eating. Let our garments be sewn with threads of grace, a covering of praise to shield us in this world of trouble and woe. Let us sing with gladness, shout with joy. Let us dance. Let freedom be our shoes. Let us do it together. Let us run toward a world not yet born but birthing. Let us be midwives. Let us groan and sweat and push in the appropriate moments. Let us remember. Let us drink wine with glad hearts. Let us laugh in unison. Let us hold our sides in pain and joy. Let us dance. Let's go.